Evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Russ Johnson with your weather forecast. If you notice today was hot, you're in for a wake-up call because it is going to be very hot once again, and we'll be flirting with 100-degree readings by the middle of this week. That's right, they become all too familiar this year, and then our storm chances will gradually increase as we get towards the weekend, and hopefully that'll put an end to this current heat wave. Currently at the airport, today we made it up to 93 degrees at a low temperature of 71, a little bit above our norms of 88 and 68. Fayetteville today was a very hot day at a high temperature of 96 degrees and a low temperature of 70. Currently at RDU, the temperature has cooled down a little bit. It's down to 89 degrees. Dew Point, though, not too out of line, 68 degrees, giving us a heat index of 93. Now, we mentioned a lot about dew point, especially in the summertime months, because dew point, regardless of temperature, does create an indication of how comfortable it feels, not just how hot. A lot of the time last week we had dew points actually up towards 75 degrees, making it feel not just hot but very oppressive, where it's very heavy and hard to breathe out there. Currently our dew points in the 60s, which is fairly humid but not as bad as it could be. So today was hot, but it wasn't quite as really where it's so heavy outside and it's hard to breathe and you got that soupy feel. Currently across the Piedmont, North Carolina, looking at most spots in the lower 90s, few spots still in the 80s. We're at 88 up in Roxborough, 91 Chapel Hill, 89 at RDU. Smithfield and Goldsboro, you're also still in the 80s. Now the core of the heat is actually in the southern plains. You're looking at Dallas, Texas. It's still 99 degrees, even though it is their time, 6 o'clock, and 97 in Kansas City, 97 in Little Rock. And the core, this heat, which has actually been plaguing them for the last several days, will be heading our way over the next few days, so be prepared for it to be very uncomfortable middle of this week. AccuWeather satellite radar does show a few clouds popping through across the Piedmont foothills, but certainly it should be mostly a calm evening for us. A few showers off the coast because from the sea breeze effect, but certainly nothing really should be an issue if you're down on the beaches. If you're heading out to the Mudcats game tonight, it should be a very nice evening. Looking at 90 degrees for when the first pitch is taken, 81 by the time of the 9th inning. So it may be wise just to bring a little extra water with you and make sure you do keep cool while you're out there watching the game. Now, here is the upper level flow map and temperatures from about 5,000 feet, and we can see when we go from today into Wednesday, the peak of the heat will be right over our area Wednesday at about noon, when they have the high pressure ridges centered just to our west, and it'll be at its strongest. But then, thankfully, when we head towards the weekend, the high will be breaking down and migrating back towards the west. And then we show here we have some very cool air popping in from Canada into Minnesota and Wisconsin, and though it really won't be getting like the significant cool down, at least it'll be hopefully putting an end to those upper 90s and 100s that have become way too familiar this season. Tomorrow, looking at, here's a moderate strength cool front positioned up through like West Virginia and Virginia and Maryland. More sunshine, upper 90s, so tomorrow will be hotter than today. It does drift slightly southward into Wednesday, but then Wednesday will be our last day for some storm chances until at least through the weekend. And yes, Wednesday is going to be a very hot one, so make sure if you got outdoor plans, take it very easy and drink plenty of fluids, because this heat is nothing to take lightly. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear, rather mild night, looking at 70 degrees or forecast low for Roxborough, 72 Durham, and 73 Raleigh and into Fayetteville. Tomorrow's highs, it's going to be heating up quickly, looking at 96 or forecast high for Roxborough. The rest of us, 97 Chapel Hill, 98 Raleigh, Cary, and into Fayetteville. So it is going to be much hotter tomorrow than today. When we look at the 7-day outlook, we can see the heat wave will be peaking tomorrow and Wednesday, flirting with those triple digits. And then, thankfully, though, by Friday, looking at some scattered storms and cloud cover should be moving in, at least cooling us down into the lower 90s, which really is about normal for this time of year in North Carolina. So stick it out the next few days, and hopefully we'll be in for at least a normal pattern with a little extra chance for some storms over the weekend. Scott, back to you. Y'all knows today was hot. I'm afraid it's going to be getting worse before it gets better. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Russ Johnson with your weather forecast. Our main headlines as we head further into the work week towards the weekend. It'll be turning very hot once again. Temperatures will be flirting with that 100 degrees, those three figures, once again by midweek, until our storm chances, though, do gradually increase as we head towards the weekend. More about that coming up. Today in Raleigh-Durham International, our high temperature was 93 degrees and a low temperature of 71. 71, slightly above our norms of 88 and 68. Fayetteville today, you experienced quite a hot day. Your high temperature was 96 degrees and had a muggy overnight low of 70. Currently at Raleigh-Durham International, it has